Hey everyone, just wanted to share some thoughts today as I'm out on this walk, very cold but beautiful fall day. Some thoughts about leadership and community that I continue to kind of process over. And one of the key dynamics of leadership and community is, as the name suggests, community. You can't have leadership unless you've got people that are following you, or unless you're following other people. There's a community aspect to leadership that's just so foundational. Unfortunately, I think that in so many of our cultures and so many of our worldviews, we are very individualistic, especially here in the West. And there is a new physics involved when you think about leadership and community. The new physics is basically like quantum physics, where it isn't so much based on what happens if I do certain things. I would expect certain outcomes to happen. It's not causal like that. That's Newtonian physics. That's the physics of 300 years ago. But the physics of leadership and community is more quantum physics. It's what happens in the relationship between people. What happens when people interact? What happens when we interact with the environment around us? And there's an emergence that happens when when people are relating to each other, when we're relating to the environment around us. And that is extremely important for leadership and community. We think about conflict, for example. Now, in most situations, especially in an individualistic worldview, we think conflict is bad for me because I'm going to get called out. I'm going to get called out on the carpet. My thoughts are going to be challenged, all that kind of thing. But in leadership and community, obviously conflict can be a very emotional thing, but it can also be an incredibly healing, restorative, creative thing, because it's through conflict that we put out ideas onto the table, and those ideas are challenged and they're sharpened and they're shaped. And when we do that in a context of hospitality and grace and love, we can have conflict that actually generates new possibilities for our leadership. It creates new cultures. It takes the world that is coming at us, and it helps us to assign new meaning to it in a way that shapes our leaderships and helps us move forward in a new creative way. And hopefully through those conflicts, we create better, deeper, closer, more trusting relationships with one another. I think that is what God's intention is for us as people, that we are bound together in relationship. Individualistic cultures tend to traffic so much in our liberties, our individual liberties, that I get to define what is good and right for me. And if that conflicts with what's good and right for you, well, so be it. But leadership and community, missional leadership, Christian leadership, is really about giving up my rights in order to serve others in love, just as Christ did. It's a cruciform leadership. It's a leadership where we welcome others to the table, and we invite them to share their diversity and their differences, and we welcome those. And sometimes we're challenged by those, and sometimes that's hard, but it's always with this view toward relationship, toward friendship in this mission together, toward sharpening one another and making our team, making our mission even more valuable than it was before. So just a few thoughts that I wanted to share today, and I hope that really encourages you as you think about your leadership.